see if I can up the bit tick rate of my offline server. Doesn't seem like. All right, whatever. It's just gonna have to be choppy. Oh, this is different. Haven't seen this yet. I don't think this changes anything. This is a cool addition.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at it yet. I put it on the server, but
What do they even do?
They put this thing here, and you can see into dungeon from top left now.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if it's for like back caps or something. This does not seem very useful, but it's cool.
Looks good, yeah.
Lobby looks the same. They made this flat. I like. Oh, they drastically changed this. This is very different. Okay. They also changed this. There's no walk up now. Okay.
So they reverted that change.
Stronger.
Interesting. Yeah.
Why did they change that?
Because Fountain was just really, really difficult to push up. Because it was just so spammable. The demo would sit here and he could just put pipes and stickies in the fountain and shred anything trying to get through it. When it used to be a walk up, but now this wall prevents that, which is good. Choke looks pretty much the same. It's still terrible because you can put 2 stickies on it. Okay. Points pretty much the same. What about books? Books looks pretty much the same too. Yeah. Oh, this has changed. The way this drops into second changed. The pack changed too, so it's much harder to push. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's no little platform in the middle either.
They made it much harder to take this.
Huh.
I don't know how I feel about that. We'll have to see.
you don't have to do a stupid rocket jump to waste damage to get up to books now.
Yeah, you can just walk up. That's kind of interesting.
Mid's different. They got rid of the little shack thing near choke. Now it's just an overhang.
Oh yeah, the little platform
now,
there.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't feel the platform was strong enough or something. Cause now as a scout, I just sit here. And this feels really good as a pocket scout, at least at the start.
Yeah.
Okay. But there are 2 mids. You can roll out either side. If you go right, that's the slower mid. You roll out books. Your demo still rolls out choke, I think. He just grabs this pack and then meets you guys over here. And then you try and work the space on right and then get up right.
So right is slower?
Yeah. It's the more controlled mid versus left is the more aggro.
Okay.
But there are some strong bombs out of books. That's a good one. And then you can come up into this corner and get a good jump. Has under changed? No, this looks pretty much the same. Okay, so yeah, right is the slower mid. You sort of start slower. It's like it's not even really passive because the objective sort of is the same, but it's a little slower to begin with. It's more height oriented, see what's going on and then make a decision. Versus left, it's a little more blind, but it's more immediate, right? We're gonna get in. Soldiers are in, right? It's much more. It quickly translates to a fight. Versus right is a little slower. You control the space and then you try and bully them up right. Couple key points for this mid in particular is these shacks are very, very strong. So is this high ground. As the team, okay, as it's a lot like Metalworks, where if you sit in the low ground and don't fight for these high ground spots above the point and around the point, like crates and height on Metalworks or boxes and shit here, you just get mulched because it's just terrible. Like it's low ground. Like it's the lowest. So it's really, really bad to get caught here. So you really want to be getting up and taking a side, not as quickly as possible, but that's the very first thing you're trying to do is get out of this grass area. If you're going left or right, mostly right, because on left you're rolling out choke, and then you're pretty much converting your HP into a bomb and then fighting up left like this. But on right, first objective is get out of this low grass area. You can swing wide like a soldier or something. You come up here, you play some spam, see what they're doing, do some sort of plan, and then you can. And the first step of winning an aggressive mid is controlling these 2 pieces of high ground. It's their shack and the top point. particularly top of point, is demo control. You're trying to prevent scouts from playing up here, because if a scout gets up here uncontested and doesn't get pushed off, your soldiers are worthless on this mid. They're just going to get mulched regardless of what they do. So anytime you're about a bomb, very similar to Bell Tower on Sunshine, you're going to be wanting to control this high ground, because then you can control where they play, and then you can force a bomb during bad positioning. It's unfortunate Dennis couldn't make it, because this mid is really demo oriented. As in, demo has the most control on the important pieces of geometry in this mid from anywhere he's playing. From here, he can control their shack, top, and our shack. Over here, he can control their shack, top, and our shack. Anywhere he is on this mid, he can put pressure and affect these sort of pseudo high grounds on both sides of these mids. So he's really important in terms of getting up and controlling and collapsing. Your scouts play more slowly. They're much more beam oriented, just trying to keep your medic alive as you're getting up your side. If you're playing a left aggro, you can do things like walk up here, jump on the top of point, double jump over here, stuff like that. You can control these high grounds early as a scout and then get your medic up underneath you, and then your soldiers are bombing in, and you're trying to, again, control this space and force them to fight from this grass and then mulch them in the grass. As soldiers, if you're playing right mid, again, you want to be very similar to Metalworks. You're either doing a very early aggressive bomb top left, or you're playing right. It's a little more slower, it's a little more controlled, a little more spam oriented. And then once there's some sort of damage call from Dennis, getting in on something. Whoever's hurt. Really strong that I think is underutilized is this fence right here. As a soldier, it's a lot like jumping into Saw on Snake. It's sort of a safe position. You have this high ground, you can draw attention, and if things start fighting you, you can drop off and play this corner into this pack and ammo. It's a very good safe like post position for a bomb. This also looks really juicy now as well. My guess, the reason they made this different is that so a scout can prevent soldiers from getting here as easily. So again, Dennis getting a scout off of this, what do you call this? I don't even, like, high ground? I don't know what you call that. Awning? Something
Platform,
like that.
yeah.
Platform. Getting their scout off of that, similar to getting a scout off of forward spawn on Metalworks. This mid actually feels a lot like Metalworks. That's the third time I've drawn a comparison. There's a lot of things that sort of feel the same. Top left is the aggro lane. You double jump in early, control early high ground, and then collapse. The right side's a slower mid. You control your boxes or top right, see what they're doing, isolate, and then collapse. So it feels very similar to Metalworks, just from a mid perspective. It also has high ground above the point, very much like Metalworks. There's not a whole lot to talk about this mid until you guys start playing it and figuring out and feeling it out. So is there like a question we want to talk about mids, or?
How do you feel about sending Soldier's Fountain?
I think it's very strong.
Okay.
Even letting your own roamer roll out to your fountain, I think, can be strong. For a couple of reasons. One, he can pretty much solo lock down a lane. He can play here. And anything that walks up, he can CC or put rockets behind, juggling them into his team. He can isolate players this way. And he's also very safe here. He's only a few rocket
Doesn't his
jumps out.
buff his buff gets kind of diminished by the time he gets there, doesn't he?
Yeah. But he still has a
If
baby
your combo
kill to
goes
play
right.
with. Well,
Yeah.
if your combo's going right, this play is much more difficult. If we're going right, I'm sending my roamer into their fountain. Because over here, he's just so isolated from the rest of my team that if he gets fought, there's no way we can help him. So if he gets fought, he kind of just dies because he's by himself. But if we're going right, having a roamer roll out into fountain is not terrible. This I don't hate. For a couple reasons. One, it's a distraction. It's something for them to think about. And if they do forget, there's a lot of powerful bombs he can relocate to where they're leaving. For example, he can be behind them, choke almost instantly. If they're trying to leave in books whenever he wants, he has a lot of pivot points from going behind in fountain there. So I think that's actually a pretty play if you're doing a more slow mid, like top, for example. Playing that's not terrible. In fact, I think it's pretty good. In terms of holding mid, I mean, I feel like you got to put this demo here. He has to be locking down this door. It's just too good. For some reason, they designed this door so that regardless of which way you clear, you still get dead on. So it's really on explosives to be knocking these things down and clearing for them and stuff. It's really hard for as a scout to be like shoulder peeking and clearing this stuff. You can kind of come into this corner and get stickies here, but it's really slow. You got to clear this, and then you come here and you're swinging wide into what's happening. It's really more ideal for soldiers just to knock down and then push. Then they can get through into some piece of high ground like this. I really like having demo here on a hold in mid. I have my flank towards fountain. It feels a lot like process, like IT. And until there's a play happening, you're having your soldiers sit on this box and watch IT/fountain, making sure nothing's coming through. And then when it's playtime, he's getting buffed and probably coming fountain or books or something. But having a roamer play here on just default mids, I think super strong because it allows your scout to be a little more floaty. You can have a pocket scout here, pocket scout there, pocket scout there, and then your flank can come over here with your pocket soldier and look at books and maybe work a play over here or something. Do we understand how the hold works, or do we want me to put statues on the map so we can kind of see where we all are relative to each other?
You do the statues quick, maybe. Okay.
Something like that. This guy is a floaty. I think this is just too strong a position not to play. It's vision without getting spammed, so this just feels dumb strong. And this is like your flank scout who's sort of not in fountain because you have your roamer watching it. He's sort of floating around this medic, watching choke, playing books until it's calmed what type of sack or push is going on.
Okay.
This ad, I always like leaving books for a couple reasons. One is that your routes to leave are much safer. Leaving through books because you can come this way and then you can go top left like this. Or if you have time, you can walk up backs like this and play from back here, which is also strong. So on this ad, I always like playing towards book. That's kind of, yeah, you're just trying not to die. So you have your demo like here, something, scout, medic, flank somewhere over there, pocket can be here or something. It's really the getting a good angle to double spam is actually kind of hard because there's no two high grounds that are like close enough together that it really makes sense. I guess here and there could be decent for terms of double spam, but if they come books, it's just so hard to get those 8 rockets on anyone that matters. They just have so much space. So maybe we actually, yeah, on this side, I think we have to play back like this. Because if this guy's forward, he just gets pinched so easily from choke and books here. It just feels so suicidal. Same with this spot. A not terrible idea might be having a soldier on this corner like this instead of back here. That way he's just hiding, and then whichever way they come in, your pocket can just do like 30 to 45 damage in spam, and then your roamer's jumping in on that onto the medic. That might be another play you'll have to experiment with. See how the success rate is. But I think demo playing back here is kind of set in stone. Any more forward, he has the chance of getting knocked into this low ground, this no man's zone. And any farther back, he really loses a lot of the pressure on choke and books that he has by playing up here. So I think your dumb man kind of has to play here on disad. Your scouts are floating around your medic, and your medic's playing to leave books. And as we're leaving out books, we're looking to play into this high ground over here. This is the strongest place to play on any sort of disadvantage, Uber, player ad. This is where you should be playing like that. But yeah, so pushing into second, couple doors. Fountain is the get in without using door. A couple of reasons. One, you have a nice wall here, so you don't eat spam. Two, you have another nice wall here, so you eat less spam. And as before, where there's this walk up where the demo man could just sit on this high ground here, and then whenever he wanted to, he could disengage and fall off. Same deal here, but it's much harder to get back on this high ground once they forfeit it as the defensive team. So this becomes a really strong dry push. You can tank a demo here or something, spam this guy off, and you can rotate up into choke like this and get good vision of this point. So this feels like a really good try not to use hold the Uber spot. And books feels like we have big ad and we know they're caught, so we can try and get into this shutter door. Because most teams, when they're going to be playing on, I guess on this side, they're going to be playing top right like this. But on more even Ubers, they should be playing top left. So there's a lot of potential to cut people off on Uber ads if they're not careful. Because this shutter door has good access to all 3 exit points, particularly top right. So if you're playing top left and you don't have Uber and they do, be very, very careful of them getting into your shutter door with their Uber, because then you're basically dead. And choke, I haven't played enough to really figure out what I like choke for. It feels kind of low visibility and kind of high risk because it's a nice tight area where you can just get right, and you can't just walk in that place if there's 8 rockets. So there's a lot of delay going on in this choke that I don't know how I feel about. So we'll have to see. But immediately off the top, this place looks like a good try and get in without using. And book seems like we have Uber ad. It's the closest door to them. There's also ideas of using just to get into this flank and behind them if they're playing top left. And if they are playing top left and you come through here, usually they're going to be leaving. They're not going to be here. And then they see you guys coming, and they're going to stay here and fight this fight because that's how they die. So they see you guys coming, and then they rotate off. So oftentimes, if you have a big player advantage, like 2 or more, and you come through books to try and fight, and they don't have Uber and they're down enough players to where it doesn't make sense for them to be fighting here, they'll see you coming, and then they'll rotate out of the spot. So again, we'll have to see an experiment. But immediately off top, that feels like viable ways to push into the second. I really do not like the second. I think it's way too big. It's very easy to like stagger the second into like multiple points, kind of like how in Granary you had yard and then second. You can do very similar ideas here. My guess as to the reason they removed this platform was here because this demo forward was way too strong before. Because you could put a demo on this platform that was here, and he would lock out this choke and library pretty much for free. But now if he's going to be doing that, he's in a very, very bombable spot from choke, blind from fountain, and even books. It's just not as good. So I think that's why they removed that and changed it. So the demo now has to play a little more respectable distance. He can still have forward traps up here like he does, but he's not as in. Like when he was here, he had perfect sticky arcs into all of books and all of choke, but he's a little farther back now. So the angles are tougher on your demo. He can't mag dump as hard as things walk through these chokes. Also, it's a bad spot to be in terms of bombing, so you don't really have an exit path. Because if you're over here and a soldier's bombing you, you really don't have any good immediate exits. You have the shutter door, but it's a shutter door. Top left is inaccessible to you, and to get out top right, you have to strafe around this whole pillar. So this is a very aggressive demo man position for when you have like at and you're trying to lock them out from getting back in or whatever's happening. This is a more aggressive position. I think the more default place to play on evens is farther back up here. Couple reasons. First thing is you always going to have some sort of scout or soldier spotting fountain from this rock like this. Worst thing that can happen to you is a team gets into this choke for free, and then you have a fight on your hands you didn't know you were coming. Versus if you have a scout here spotting, that never happens to you. I think medic is pretty safe around. Oh, that's not the right class. That's medic. Medic's safe around here. He can tag this guy. He can tag his demo, who can probably be playing up here if it's less safe to be this forward. And as for soldiers, I think having a flank soldier here is invaluable. It gets really good early spam and calls on books, which tends to be where a lot of teams feel like they're sacking from. Having played it a couple of times, I have a lot of teams sack on me through books. So having an early spot and early spam on this is really, really strong. So I think I'm always going to have my Roma replaying here. It's also very non-committal, and it's a strong pivot point where he can jump into choke, or he can jump back into his team top left if he needs to, or he can rotate through top right and lock out this other side here with some spam if they're trying to push behind him while he's top right. So this Roamer spot feels really good. Pocket seems kind of floaty. This seems good on pocket. This also seems good on pocket. Not much else is really screaming to me that I would want to be here. This spot's good, but it's just so far away from everything. I feel like these 2 spots are much better for you. So this is kind of how I would build an evens hold, something like this, where your pockets in between these two spots, your scouts here or here on beam, medics here, demos floating around this area, and you have your roamer over here with this flank scout. As a flank scout, I'm not even really dying to play with my roamer like that. I feel better playing. I don't even know, to be honest. I would watch some invite demos and see what the invite flank scouts are doing in terms of positioning in this second. I didn't really have time. I was working today, so I didn't really have time to check up on that before this. But I'm not sure where a flank scout should be playing. Because here feels pretty decent, but it's a very slow spot for a flank scout because you're mostly waiting on shit to happen and reacting to where the bombs are coming in. So
All I'm
like
hearing is build a sentry, so got you.
yeah, for real. But again, this place is huge, so if you want to snipe, I think is really good. Because this sightline right here is kind of gross. You get almost all the books, you get a fat peek into choke, and you get a nice peek into half a fountain. So a sniper here feels like locked down almost. Like it's just really strong. So maybe something to play with and consider. It's a sniper spot here.
Yeah.
And then you have a scout on him, and the soldier that tries to get on the sniper gets body shot and then 60 damage in the air, and he just craters. Right? It's just impossible to get in on this guy if he's playing back here like this. So those are some things to consider. And then again on this ad, we're playing top right with a scout medic, and other players are playing in position where they're just trying not to die. There are a couple really strong bombs. On this second. This one's actually really, really good. Into this choke, I like that one a lot. It's a good one because you can also get into fountain if they're going. It also has a nice intermediary high ground to land from your bomb. So if you don't feel like kamikazing, you can just sink and then land up here, and then you're putting rockets on, jump out, and you have a wall to play with. So I feel like this bomb from left into choke or fountain is very strong. The only problem is it feels very risky because if they're pushing books, you're just feeding into this doorway here. So it might be fun to fight flank like this as a soldier, but it's kind of feeding. But again, if you're playing roamer, right, and you get a call they're coming fountain or whatever right here, I think walking over like this is not a terrible idea, and then you can bomb. There are a couple other good ones I like as well. I think this bomb's actually pretty strong. If they're coming choker, this blind jump over these rocks feels pretty potent. Again, it's blind, so they don't see you coming, and it's only one rocket jump, so you're landing with 3 or 4 rockets on their face. This one feels pretty good too, as a roamer or pocket soldier, like hiding in this corner tight. Your demo spamming, calming your jump, and then you're in wherever you need to be. That one feels good too. I like that one. Again, you have this intermediate high ground to be landing on and working. Kind of looking at it, it might be good to play a soldier here, like a pocket, because you have your roamer back here early spotting books, and you have your pocket up close like this. There's really no threat to this guy unless it's like a sniper back left fountain or something. But anytime he gets remotely like touched, he can jump away into bats or he can jump away onto point. So this also might be actually a pretty good spot on pocket. We'll have to see how that goes. But this one is kind of leaping out to me while I'm looking at it. This feels strong. I would experiment with this. Obviously not on this ad, but on more evens to slight ads while you're building. Not letting them in while you have your demo over here just feels really, really tough to deal with. And you have 2 soldiers locking down books if teams are trying to push through. And then he has a nice jump here. Oops, that's not stairs. Into stairs like this, and then he can get away like this. So there's actually pretty decent pathing from that spot too. So it's even better than I initially thought it would be. So that is definitely worth investigating as a pocket. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier, but on this side, really avoid top left because if they know you're playing top left like this and they get a demo with an Uber into your shutter door, you're in deep shit. There's not much you can do. Um, yeah, avoiding top left on this side is kind of a noob trap. You want to be staying out of that on this side. Even though it kind of feels like where you would want to be because it's farther away, you definitely want to be playing bats like this just because the exit is so easy, right? They're coming books or they're not. You're spamming as you're leaving. And then when you leave, you're leaving through high ground the entire time you're out, and you have vision of everything, and it feels much safer this way. So I really like for Disad. In terms of holding second once you have it, I'm almost always going to be holding from inside a lobby. This place is huge. I definitely want to be holding from inside here. And if we're breaking down how I kind of want my players to be positioned, I like a pocket here. I like having a medic over here. I like having a demo somewhere over here. He can be behind boxes like this if he wants, or if he wants to be more left, he can play even back here with his medic or something, maybe even on these boxes. But I think having a demo here is really powerful. A couple reasons. He can have a trap right, he can have a trap main. If he wants to, he can get on these boxes, and then from these boxes, if he wants, he can have a trap dungeon and main while his flank watches right with him. In terms of flank soldier, he's kind of more free, but your general area of focus is going to be this right point because your pocket and your pocket are going to be dealing with top left with your medic. Main and right is going to be more a demo and like a roaming soldier. So on these boxes isn't terrible as roaming soldier. Playing actually over here on this angle like this is also pretty good. If anything comes in, it's a very advantageous fight for you. Yeah, this feels like a good spot on roamer. Because on this flat does not feel great. Something to be careful of if you don't know is that an enemy roamer can come. Oops. I can't rocket jump, but then this is real. This is something to be taken seriously. But yeah, in terms of holding the second on even to add, I'm going to always be in this lobby. And then my roamer and demo are going to be locking out right to main. And then me and my combo are going to be dealing with top left. Is there questions about how that hold works? Cool. So moving into pushing, I think, again, there are 3 entries into this last. This last is fucking huge. So there's really 4, but main's kind of crap for a couple of reasons. They can see you coming through the shutter door, so it's not blind. It's also a shutter door, so it's very juggleable. Like, I don't know how you fucking say that word, but like you can juggle people in it, and putting traps on it will send people into the corners of the spawns, so it's not great. So I tend to avoid pushing main if I can. It's just easier. It's very easy to get spammed from this low ground from a soldier there, soldier there, soldier there. There's a gun in right. To get to it, you have to swing all the way into point. It feels kind of terrible. I don't really like main. Left or right, excuse me, if you're pushing, is the really strong space, right? Because it blocks vision from top left and sort of isolates this top right. So if you get a pick, you can actually work a fight top right pretty convincingly. You can get in on this guy, get him, prevent him from getting into spawn, and you can take this fight like this, and maybe kill this guy who's by himself. Things to be careful of though is this head glitch is really strong for hit scan, things like sniper and heavy. They can just sit here and head glitch and do damage to you. A gun right here is also very, very strong. There's no real good spam angle, except for like splashing it over here, and that takes forever because he can just be on top of it with the dispenser healing it, so it's not great. But this is a really good gun spot right here, and then there's another really strong over here. This one is harder to get the gun into, but once you get it here, actually clearing it out is very difficult without full committing top left like this, right? Because on anything near evens, for them to come in here and shoot this gun, they're like walking through the team right here. So the spam this shit is actually pretty difficult. It's hard to get a good angle on it, even for main, right? To get it to actually spam it, you have to peek through this doorway, and there's stickies, and then you can get juggled in. It's a whole fucking thing. So this gun is actually pretty strong. Like, it's getting an angle on it is not easy. So those are kind of some interesting defensive spots. But yeah, so top left is a lot like top right Sunshine. This is like 30 to 20 out. You're just going to take this into them. Their team is either going to be back right like this on closer to evens, or if they're on a huge disad, the way I my voice, but the way I have my team play is I like playing back here with my medic, and if they come through left trying to hold, we can hold S like this and try and get a force here. If they're using through top right trying to fight us, we can use this giant wall, play a little ring around the roses, and try and delay their Uber for as long as I can. Rotating feels very, very strong on this map. I think playing disad in the middle with the scout and a medic, I think, is how you're going to keep your medic alive and get a fight onto this point after an Uber a lot of the time. Along with the strong off class, like a gun over here or a sniper getting an early pick or force, and then maybe something like a heavy top right or playing near point back here like this is also going to be pretty strong. He controls a lot of this airspace for basically free. And if he starts getting pressured, he can use this wall to control incoming damage and then get into spawn while still having vision of what's happening. And he can take this fight like this if he needs to and get in that spawn and not die. So heavy on right's actually pretty decent as well. But yeah, getting off track. Pushing top left is like top left is like top right of Sunshine. It's for smaller ads. Getting through, exploding onto the medic. Dungeon is a lot worse than on Sunshine because you have to get through almost three separate chokes to get actually into dungeon. So you have to get through the one in lobby, you have to get through this one, and then you have to get through this one. So there's three chokes you have to get through without getting juggled in. So that's kind of huge. If for some reason they don't have a soldier spotting this back here like this, and they give you this sightline for free, like as a flank scout, you come with the buff or something, and you peek this angle and you notice that you're like building Uber and you got buffed first, so you're here spotting what's going on and you see there's no gun or anything here. Having a double scout hug this right wall and then exploding through could be really, really strong. So there's ideas there to think about. But again, this is very easily stuffed by just one soldier in these doorways ruining your day. This is a high risk, high reward Uber, I think. And then I think I already talked about it, but this is the get in without using door. This is, I have player ad. I just want to get into this last and start making things happen. Very strong. Again, there's going to be off class shit over here, but you have this whole hedge blocking almost all of top left for you. So you really take this fight pretty easily back here like this, right? Because then all of this top left doesn't really get to see you and fight you. I mean, that's most of the pushes. Do we have questions about pushes or like concerns?
Nope.
Are we still doing
Sorry,
double sacks on
Got
this?
it.
Yeah, I would double sack into this last.
Are there any good sack plays you know off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, but just from looking at it, I think you're going to be dealing with a lot of heavy off classing. So things like guns and heavies and snipers and left. So exploding into top right seems like one of your better options. Left just seems too big and too like spacey to get any real damage done into anything. I imagine a pretty common pattern would be a dungeon would be a scout, and then you can have a soldier come over here. If he's really ballsy, he can hug this here and then get in this way. But I think what's going to be more likely is things like this. I think that type of pattern is going to be. I think pretty soon someone's going to figure out a sack. Actually, I think this one seems pretty. Something
We had
like
some
that.
pretty good success the last time we played this map where like we had a sniper peek shutter and then I just sacked through dungeon while the medic was like hiding behind point.
Yeah, anytime you can
I
get
don't know why they
sniper
weren't
and
watching.
soldier coordination, it's always going to be good because sniper makes medic positioning predictable. so it makes your job a
Yeah.
whole lot easier. So it makes the job of finding this like the medic while you're sacking not a problem anymore. So working
Yeah, that
those
was
two in combination will be really strong. I agree. Yeah. Again, with big last as he's sniper is going to be you can work main pretty good, just like you can work main in metal. You can have a soldier with 3 hold the corner like this, and then you have a sniper. He can work into top right. He can peek this medic back here. Things to be is having a pocket soldier top left like this. Oh, I forgot to talk about hold. But if I'm holding this last on evens, I have my pocket like this, like 100% of the time. I have my demo. Oh, okay. Here's the kind of thing. Oh yeah, on even to add, I have my pocket up here like this. 2 things. He can help lock out top right. It's a lot like fence in Snake Water Last, if you can think of that. The fence near top right. This feels very similar. And this spot is also good as a more defensive spam spot. You also have really good control of main from it. So I like having pocket on some sort of these intermediary high grounds. I like having a demo somewhere here like this, maybe putting spam and watching his traps top right, maybe even on main. And then I have my pocket scout play down here like this, spotting dungeon. My medics floating around here, and I have my flank playing over here. If we're talking like some variation of something like this, and then we can put stickies. There are a lot of really good traps, as you can kind of see. So be careful of those. These are the traps I see pretty common. Main for obvious reasons. Dungeon ones because they're nice tight little doorways people have to clear. The stickies on the back side of these shrubs are just neat little blind angles people don't see until it's too late. Same with this top left one, especially if you tuck this one in good up here, right in here. This one's really, really strong because people are going to be trying to peek into this point wide like this, and you'll catch players here. That one's really strong. And then obviously you can put ones on these doorways where people are trying to come in and stuff. Any questions?
Yeah, how do you push out of the last? Like, which doorway's the best?
I think a combination. Well, the big thing is that you all can't be going through the same door, and I would really avoid, unless you're a roamer. So the only person who I think can really go top left and pushing out of last is your roamer, because again of this. It's a nice little spot. You can do some early spotting, do some good spam. You can see if they're holding top left. This is very slept on. Most people don't know this, but this is a sight line to see if they're holding top left or get an idea of where their combo is. So this spot's really good. A lot of information, very low risk. You can be out of there pretty. I fuck that, and then you're out, right? So as a roamer, that spot feels strong. If I'm a pocket, I'm looking to go top right. Couple reasons. One is nice and close. You got a ceiling. 2, when you get through here, you can play spam and then jump. Ooh, excuse me. I can't rocket jump. Come here. And then get into top left like this and take fights and stuff. Your medic has a pack here. So it feels like getting a soldier and medic through top left or top right, excuse me, is pretty strong. I think demo in main is really, really good. One, he has immediate influence on the fight happening top right. 2, he's in a shutter door. So anytime anything fights him, he holds S and just stickies the shutter door and he's immediately safe. And 3, he can sticky this shutter here very safely. And so there's no cheeky repeat. Sometimes soldiers will do this when you're not ready. I can't fucking C-top. That was one, but I can't rocket jump. But he can land in the top left up here.
Alright, word.
So that shutter jump's really strong. What I think the combination of top left and main is how you're gonna really break lobby. But most of the time, yeah, that's really how you're gonna be breaking lobby. Just through these two.
And so when taking second, would you just go battlements?
Oh, it depends on how big the disad they're running from is, right? Like if it's an Uber and multiple players, I imagine they're probably going to be playing over here. At least I would. Like if they're trying to re-push into me, I'm playing near choke. Because books is a really good way to get caught 'cause it's a nice long choke. So if your medic's playing something like this with a scout, I think that's pretty acceptable. But there's little to no influence these two are going to have on what happens on point. So if you're looking to more to like spam and maybe fight point a little bit before leaving, I imagine teams aren't going to be playing, but in choke instead. Because there's still spam, there's still angles, scouts can still engage with things, right? There's still space going on. But if I'm just trying to leave and keep my medic alive, top left feels like the door. Because I can play here, my medic can be full beam length back here, and he's just unbelievably safe. So this feels like I really can't have my medic die in place.
All right, word.
But yeah, so you can go bats, control this space. It's the immediate high ground. I think this is always a safe spot. It gives you good vision. It gives you good spam. I think bats is a pretty safe bet for pushing out, and I think that's why top left is so crucial because you can establish that control early, and you establish this positioning control into vision spam, and then maybe a bomb or a collapse or a free point and stuff. But yeah, I think getting in top left here and then peeking and working these things through bats is how you're going to break the second on some sort of advantage. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Sick. Anybody else? Scouts? Soldiers? Questions?
No,
Not right now. No.
Cool. Is there anything I forgot to cover? I can't think of it. I talked about holding mid, disad pushing from mid into second, actually playing the mid, holding second, disad evens, pushing into lobby.
Do we cover pushing into mid?
Oh yeah, let's talk about pushing into mid. It sort of ends up being the inverse, where books becomes very safe. Couple reasons. One, if this soldier's on this high ground, you can have a soldier play this long spam on it and he gets hit. So this spot is not very. So this spot should be pretty feed. The thing I'm now afraid as a team trying to push through is this spot here. For a couple reasons. One, it's a nice blind tight corner. Two, he still has good spam into choke from up here. So he's killing two birds with one stone. For example, as a roam. If I'm playing here, I'm helping spam this choke like this, and if I hear a calm, they're going wherever I need to be to deal with books, right? So this feels like a really good forward roamer spot, like a hold. So pushing through books becomes actually quite scary. And then choke doesn't feel great either. And then getting through fountain is a nightmare. So I think books is going to end up being your best. Just be careful of this guy. I think the way you're going to beat that is hugging your right wall instead of your left. So when you come through here, you have a soldier spamming this early, and then as he's jumping into high ground like this, figuring out where this guy is, talking to his teammates, and then they're coming in behind this guy. I think is how you're going to push this, trying not to use. If you're trying to use, I think choke got exponentially worse because this guy has a spot to like do a lot of destructive things to Uber's trying to happen here. So I think maybe fountain might end up being a decent spot because it's actually pretty blind if you hold this right wall, and you can maybe take a soldier scout, double scout through this aggressively into a team, try to leave over here maybe. Again, this is my least experienced map. It's the newest. I'm the least comfortable on it. So I don't have like 100% answer in how I'm breaking this mid. I'll have to play it a little bit.
Fountain sort of feels like
books.
kitchen in Snakewater.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It feels like kind of like a better kitchen because it's not.
Yeah.
You can fight the choke, which is saw, by being immediately here, and then you also have a really good high bomb, which I guess you did from lower too. So I guess you're kind of right. This does feel very similar to kitchen. So I guess there are kitchen Ubers we could be doing. So thinking about it in that light, maybe we want to talk about like a demo scout or a double scout through kitchen to catch over aggressive teams. What the thing I'm hesitant about though is that the mid is just so fucking big, right? Like even if your demo gets through here, this team is going to be playing out of one of the 3 doors, so actually catching them is going to be very difficult. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. In terms of aggressive movers, I think getting through here is going to be decently easy with a little bit of practice. You just get used to clearing this spot with the soldier jumping through, and then his team comes in behind them, and then it's basically like working a right side mid. You control the same high ground spots, and if they're still, you can work the same bombs that you do on mid into this push. I saw
Can a
Benny did a
sniper hide in
review.
forwards?
Wait, what are you saying? A sniper in
Can a
forwards?
sniper hide in forwards there? Do we have to
He
watch
can,
for
but
that?
the angle is not fantastic.
Okay.
It gives you that vision on him pretty early here, right? Because this soldier's coming through like this, he's spamming, and then and then he's jumping through, and he can see if that spawn door is open or whatever.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
But yeah, this sightline is going to be dangerous. This is going to be a problem, I imagine, actually, for what you're talking about. Sort of like not Snake, but oh, what's the one?
Gully?
No, there's that one. It's a European map they play where there's like a second with a lot of grass on the right, and then it leads into a big like industrial looking last. Do you know what I'm talking about? Maybe it's called Reckoner. I'm not sure. I don't know what the map is called, but they play it in EU rotation. And
Propaganda?
no, because we played that in NA. Like it's never been in a season of NA. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think it's Reckoner. It's like
It
red
is
or
Reckoner.
something.
Yeah, but there's that forward spawn in Reckoner on snipers is disgusting. So it kind of feels similar to that, where it just has such a strong sightline, like all the way across the map. I think the thing to be afraid of is not a sniper in forwards, but a sniper here. Because I think this sniper is very hard to get out of here. Because even if he's a soldier jumping from this blind right, there's still a body shot happening somewhere in the sky here. Right? It's not close enough to where the sniper can't get a body shot on you and stop you from getting him out of his spot. So breaking the sniper from here is kind of interesting. There might be ideas here having a sniper. If the guy dies early and it's going to be evens to disad, having a sniper here might force a pop over here, maybe pick a player, control this airspace really well. So that's another thing we'll have to see how it plays. But yeah, I don't really know much else. I saw Banny uploaded a review of this in like June or something. So if I were you guys, I'd go watch those. I'm going to tomorrow. So we'll see how much of what I said is redundant, but I'm sure Banny has some ideas on how this map should be played.
Alrighty, guess that's it then.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, short and sweet. I don't have as much like detailed information this time. I'm not comfortable on this map yet.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, dude.
Well, a lot of info.
I think,
Cool.
like you said, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of potential for off-classing on this map. Not just
It's just so huge.
yeah, like
Yeah.
because the way that I've seen, not just but from us playing this, but watching other teams play this, all this game, this map is always like played one of two ways. It's either one team just absolutely obliterates them at mid and goes straight to last, uh, or the other, or it becomes extremely stalematey on second. And so, like with all that time like spent on second points, there's time for a lot of different things to happen
Yeah.
that I don't think anybody's really gotten into
Yeah.
yet. Snipers, you could. I've seen some matches where you could very easily have rolled a heavy weapons guy out to second if you wanted to, like no problem. Like someone could have gone back and switched to heavy and come back. Because like you said, there's almost like like an extra player that's available on second
For
point.
sure. Yeah, I think one of the biggest design flaws with this map is going to be this choke. because all these doors are blind. So like normally the way this sort of ends up being is there's one door that's bad to get in unless you're using because it's close. That feels like this fountain. There's a door that has good vision, but tends to be low ground and a slower door where you push on ad players, like player ad, which feels like library or books. But then there's also one where it's sort of a mid ground where it's still in them enough to take a fight, but it's not so in them that you have to use. That's supposed to be choke. But these demo traps and this new high ground makes this choke feel almost unpushable. Like I'm really not sure how the fuck you're supposed to get through choke. Unless they're down like 3. Can I stand on that?
High
Kinda.
ground.
Bro, this is kind of dirty. I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, well, you can't even like see it from like the edge of fountain
You
anymore.
see my little feet? It's kind of gross. I don't like what they did to this. This is too strong, I think.
All right, that's my spot. No one take it.
Yeah. If I were a soldier, I would be playing a lot up there, like all the time. And
Yeah,
as a
give the enemy
pocket
team
scout
toe
on
picks.
mid, I'm sort of like how on metal you can roll out onto top of forward
Yeah.
spawn to deny
Yep.
this bomb spot. I would be doing this like every mid.
Okay.
And then it's particularly if you have getting up there with a winger as a that feels like a very good pathing option, right? Because if you can get a scout up there, disgusting. So something like winger here, winger up there feels very, very strong.
I'll try it out.
I don't know if I can make that on winger. So I'm going to see real. But yeah, if you're going to go right side mid, you all roll out this way. Like this through right. Except for your demo who rolls out choke, grabs a pack, and then like Metalworks, he grabs his pack and then drops down to the beam down here. I don't think you can make this jump. This is very possible. That's very comfortable. So that seems like a really good pathing. Can I get up there? No, maybe. No, that's kind of, yeah, that's wishful thinking. But I think it's going to be you start the mid here to make sure there's no initial soldier bombs. If you see them rolling out left here, and then after they start getting pushed back or they whatever happens, then here feels like a next spot on like pocket scout. So that's things to look at. They also gave you a bailout now too, because before, if you were gonna be like an aggressive early scout onto this amphitheater, whatever the fuck this awning thing is called, playing like this, it was very aggressive because you really didn't have anywhere to go. You could like back up a little bit, but then you're against this wall and it's not great. But now that we have this little awning to play with, this is much less committal. This is very free. So I wonder how that's gonna play.
It's fucked up.
For real, they kind of did you guys dirty. I cannot lie. I feel bad for soldiers now. At least on
We feel
mid.
bad for ourselves while we play soldier.
And then he gets to. I guess it's all fair because then he gets to sit here eventually and just hold this choke dolo. So all's fair. Goes around, comes around. Aw.
I wonder if there's any like corner bugs or like texture bugs.
Oh yeah, you could wall bug on all of this.
Yeah. I'm gonna start learning those.
You have to like get into the wall on soldier, but anytime
Anything with like a diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is the way it calculates your velocity and stuff. It just breaks, so you just are sticky. I hate playing spider roamers as a pocket scout. I have to fucking look at all the corners and shit for the cobwebs. Where the fuck are they? Spider of arachnid soldiers, bro. Oh wait, that's kind of dirty. Wait. Oh, I'm doing that every mid actually. Anytime we go left as a pocket. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Wait, go to books. There's a pallet like at the back. I wonder if you can jump up to there from that pallet.
Maybe. It's
I don't-
tough. I don't think so.
For sure.
Yeah, nah.
Are you using the winger right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just bring in the atomizer, it'll be fine. I'm so sad they fucking nerfed the atomizer. You could probably pull off so much crazy shit with it if you could just like jump the moment you pulled it out.
Fan meta. Let's go.
So fan is fun. I actually know fan.
Please buff the scout.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is going to be interesting. I initially don't. Yeah, I have negative feelings, but I wonder if I played a little bit, I'll start liking it. We'll have to see. Yeah, Pocket Scout in second. I'm sitting here like 8 days out of the week.
Okay.
Just because it has such great vision into this choke, you have great vision here, and you can help and see what's going on over here, and it gives you vision, and then it's a super good drop down wall. You can just break contact, and then you can hug this wall like this, and then you're with your medic. So that feels pretty strong. Can you hide on these? You can. That's kind of gross. Rocket launcher cheap. Put a nice little rocket around this corner.
Oh.
Could you hold second if they're trying to push out a last if you're like 2 down on this map?
Maybe.
Probably not. The lobby's like the size of goalie wash, so.
So holding second when they're dead two, or you're dead two. No, I think you 100% hold this when you're dead two here. Because especially if you're up in lobby here, even if you're dead or roamer or something, your demo still has stickies here and here. They're trying to come dungeon. They're eating 1,200 damage from your demo. They come top left. They're taking an exchange into a pocket. And this pocket isn't stuck top left here either, right? So if they start coming top, you can do glancing bombs and shit and then come over here. I feel like holding this is very, very feasible when down two.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to go see this library cheese though. Can you like... This is kind of gross, man.
Are you hitting the wall though? The other wall?
Not hit the wall.
Uh-oh.
That's fucking retarded.
Nerf stock.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. That's kind of fun to play with. Although it's kind of feeding, because if you don't hit him, he just gets in here and he starts fighting you, and like, you're kind of fucked. But that's kind of funny. Like that.
Always go for the funnier play.
No one's
It's not
playing
even
actually
hard.
in there though.
I don't know why they have this, and I don't know why this geometry exists. Like, who is gonna come in here? Like, what? For why?
They fucking neutered that shit so
Oh,
hard.
is this a
High
spot?
ground?
Is this supposed
Low?
to spot this corner? Is that why that exists? Clear this guy? The fucking monkey hiding for the bomb I was talking about? Is that why that exists? Maybe. Okay, as a pocket soldier, where do I want to play? There. Or here. There if I'm very aggressive. Never on these two, because there's a... Something in case you don't know soldiers. This thing goes all the way to skybox, so you can't actually jump over. Oops. It's like a lighthouse. It's like all the way up, and jumping off it's very weird. So bombing into this is actually kind of difficult. But yeah, pocket. If my scout's there, I'm here. This is good spam here. There's good spam there. There's good spam. This is pretty good pocket actually. I like this. I like that. This feels strong. This is a good angle here. You can jump spam it. You also have good coordinated spam with the rummer who's over there. This spot feels good. I still don't... This feels cheesy. I don't know why this exists. But yeah, roamer back here for sure. This just feels too strong, and then your jumping is also blind. So yeah, that spot for sure on roamer. Flank scout though. I don't think I even want to be over here if I'm flank scout. I think I'm playing like there or back here. Yeah, I think back here is probably where I'm playing on flank scout. It's just great vision. You're not eating beam, and you're in a spot to rotate to wherever the fight is. So I think flank scout somewhere here, maybe even a little more forward like this or something. But I think you're trying to play more in the middle than to either side because this roamer is just so strong up there that I don't think it's necessary. Like another guy here with this person, like. Especially if you're playing this deep on right as a flank scout, it just feels so bad. Yeah, you definitely don't want to play here. Here feels much better. I think I'm playing here on flank scout over here on evens. And then this side, I'm probably still playing here and then just leaving this shutter door. You can get caught on that. Wait. How did I do that? I guess you can't get caught on it. I'm just a chimp. But yeah. And that's really about it for cheese. Go up there. There's no good hiding spots in here. There's probably some wall bugs in here you can figure out. Oh, can I hide in this corner? Oh, this might be kind of dirty as a roamer. For like a kind of, it's like a rock in process second. You know, sometimes you tuck yourself into that rock and then you're calmed in. This might be an idea. Because if they're coming left, you're in. And then anything trying to get in under just gets dumpstered. If they're coming over you, there's no way they're clearing you and you're doing rockets here. So that might be kind of a hidey spot to play with on roamer. I'm not looking forward to this week.
I don't think anybody is. I have not heard a single person say Vela's a good map.
Yo, I love this map.
I don't think anybody in our
Fuck you,
division is
Cube.
going to play anywhere near what you just taught us. So I think we'll have the upper hand.
Yep.
I don't have an answer for this because Demo doesn't have a good angle here either because he has to charge them like over. Because if he tries to lob them, this part fucks you.
Yeah.
So you have to like sticky charge into this guy. That's so AIDS. By the time you're shooting one sticky at him, he shot 3 rockets at you through this little crack. I don't know, man. I don't know how you deal with this guy.
I need you to find the angle to shoot mortars over the choke.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I don't think you can, though. Yeah, it eats it.
Do some CSGO nade strats. Or better yet, just run the direct
Can I show you a hilarious strat?
Yeah, what's up?
It's a sunshine strat. I'll show you. It's a lineup me and my team figured out for a demo man where you pop crits on the demo man and the dip lands like in plat on the medic.